Bell explains to Aina his determination to advance to deeper floors of the dungeon responsibly. He trusts in Ryu's experience, who has already reached the 41st floor with the Astria family, and also recognizes the growth of Lily and the others, who managed to cross the 37th floor with external help. Even so, he makes it clear that he does not intend to act recklessly or selfishly. His goal is to advance with preparation, reinforcing the group's cooperation and ensuring everyone's safety, without allowing himself to stand out by putting others at risk. Aina agrees with his analysis and states that the group's current strength is above average, even excessive, especially since they have 2 Class 1 adventurers. Therefore, she considers it reasonable to advance to the 29th floor, beyond the safe zone of the 28th. She explains that the 29th floor, known as the Wild Forest Gorge, is a dangerous area, full of powerful creatures like the Blood Swords, where level 3 is an absolute requirement. While Bell mentally recalls the knowledge acquired in the theoretical classes, Aina changes her tone and comments, with a certain nostalgia, on how difficult it is to believe that only 6 months have passed since the day Bell fled from a minotaur on the 5th floor, recognizing how much he has grown and become a true professional adventurer. After explaining his plans to cautiously advance into the dungeon, Bell receives an honest assessment from Aina. The current strength of the Hestia Familia already exceeds the expected standard, especially since it includes 2 first-class adventurers. This makes it feasible to advance beyond the safe floor, to the dangerous 29th floor, known as the Wild Forest Gorge, a hostile zone full of powerful monsters that requires, at a minimum, level 3 adventurers. Even recognizing the danger, Aina agrees that Bell's decision is not reckless, as long as it is based on preparation and cooperation. The conversation then takes on a more personal tone. Aina recalls how just 6 months earlier Bell was desperately fleeing a minotaur on the 5th floor, contrasting sharply with the experienced and confident adventurer now standing before her. Her gaze blends pride, affection, and a slight melancholy, like someone who realizes they can no longer protect in the same way. Bell, in turn, admits that he still doesn't feel fully like a first-class adventurer, revealing insecurity despite his rapid rise. It is at this point that Aina recognizes an inevitable distance between them. As a guild employee and not an adventurer, she understands that her advice, once fundamental, no longer fully captures the reality of someone who needs to face extreme risks. Still, she makes one last sincere request, that Bell slow down a little. Not to give up on his goals, but to breathe, look beyond the dungeon, and experience new things, believing that this can broaden his horizons and even strengthen his path as an adventurer. Through this dialogue, Bell realizes that he had been unconsciously launching himself into a constant race for evolution, pressured by goals, expectations, and his own accelerated growth. Recognizing his own inexperience, he understands that Aina's advice remains valuable, perhaps more so than ever, and feels relieved to have consulted her. The conversation ends lightly and affectionately, reinforcing the bond of trust between the two, shortly before something unexpected begins to shake the entire guild. Leaving the guild alongside Aina, Bell was still trying to organize his own thoughts, focused on adjusting his body and the team's coordination, consciously deciding not to set a new immediate goal. However, something unexpected interrupted this moment of introspection. A deep, distant sound echoed through the city. It wasn't a flute, as it might seem at first glance, but a profound call that aroused curiosity and unease. The sudden movement within the guild confirmed that something extraordinary was happening. It was then that Bell heard, for the first time clearly, the term he had previously only known from rumors, the return of the school district. Guided by Aina, he followed to the top of the city walls, now open as if for a grand festival. The assembled crowd, adventurers, civilians, merchants, and guild officials, shared the same vibrant anticipation, all focused on the southwestern horizon. Before his eyes, Bell witnessed an unforgettable sight, a colossal floating city rising from the sea. The Flinghorny, the largest ship in the world, emerged as a metropolis superimposed on enormous metallic discs, filled with towers, buildings, and winged figures that seemed to blend technology, magic, and fantasy into a single living structure. It was not just a ship, but an entire world sailing toward Orario. Realizing that the sound he had heard earlier was, in fact, the whistle of that maritime colossus, Bell felt his heart race. The warm welcome from the labyrinthine city and the collective ecstasy made it clear that this event marked more than a simple visit. It was the announcement of new possibilities. Faced with the approaching unknown, Bell realized that, even after so many battles and conquests, his path as an adventurer was still far from predictable, and this, more than anything, rekindled his excitement.